What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here, back with another episode, man. And day 2 of the NFL draft concluded last night as we entered day 3, rounds 4 through 7 today. I'm expecting a huge day for the FCS, man. We could see anywhere from 10 to 20 FCS players go today. Hopefully, man, everyone was expecting a record year for the FCS being drafted, man. So shout out to all those guys. I'm hoping to hear a bunch of FCS names today. But last night we saw two more FCS players come off the board in day 2, both in the second round. And this was weird, man. Nobody goes in the third. It was the first time since I believe the 80s, maybe even the late 70s, that no FCS players were drafted in the third round. But we saw two, one go extremely early in the second round with the second pick of that round. And then, of course, one more later in the round is Christian Watson and Troy Andersen were both selected last night. Christian Watson, for me, I thought had a very good chance to go first round. One of the teams that I predicted that he potentially could go to in the Green Bay Packers selected him last night, while Troy Andersen is headed down to Atlanta to shore up that Falcons defense, where they had a whole lot of defensive needs coming into the draft, man. But let's talk about these prospects a bit, man. Christian Watson, North Dakota State wide receiver, drafted with the 34th overall pick of the NFL draft, second pick of the second round, as the Green Bay Packers trade the Vikings two second round picks to get up to pick 34 and draft Christian Watson, righting the wrong of the first night, man, as they extended their streak of no first round wide receivers being drafted in over 20 years now for the Green Bay Packers. And this was a absolute huge hole in this roster. Devontae Adams being traded to the Raiders. They also lost Valdez Scantling and St. Brown to free agency this season. Or this offseason. So they had a huge need at wide receiver. And I thought Christian Watson really fit what they needed in that wide receiving room. And they've hit on some second, third round wide receiver selections as well. Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb are all wide receivers that the Packers have taken in the second or third round. But what are you getting with Watson, man? This kid for me should have been a first round NFL draft pick. And just in my opinion, watching his talent, his athleticism, his potential, he has it all, man. Four-time national champion, FCS first team All American in 2021 as a wide receiver and an all purpose guy on special teams, a three-time first team All MVFC selection, was also an FCS All American selection in 2020. And man, he's fourth in North Dakota State history in yards per catch, fourth in yards per return as well. And the combine is really where he jumped on a lot of people's screens. 6'4, 210, was seventh among wide receivers in the 40-yard dash with a 4.36, and was sixth among all wide receivers in vertical with a 38.5 vert. And the broad jump was number one in the entire combine with an 11.4 in the broad jump, man. This kid has just oozes athleticism and potential. And looking at the film, what is he going to bring to this Packers franchise? And it really starts with a unique combination of both speed and size. He has excellent body control, brings a lot of physicality to the game, and that includes blocking, man. And I don't think a lot of people understand how important that is at the NFL for wide receivers to understand their role and be able to block. There's a big highlight at North Dakota State where he comes all the way across the field to pick up a block for his running back, taking it to the end zone. So Christian Watson has that team mentality, comes from a very strong program in North Dakota State, and his vision after the catch. And this goes back to his return days when he gets the ball in his hand and it's just him open field and he's got to find where to go. He is so good at making his cuts, knowing where to go, how to set up his blockers down the field. Christian Watson is going to be an explosive threat due to that, and also his versatility. We've seen North Dakota State use him on the outside, use him in the slot, put him at the running back spot. He can be a punt returner, kick returner. Christian Watson just needs the ball in his hands. And so when you look at what the Packers needed, they just needed a playmaker that Aaron Rodgers can trust in the biggest moments. And I think that's what they're going to get in Christian Watson. Yes, he needs to develop a little bit because coming from North Dakota State, he really didn't get as many opportunities to go up there and get the football as other pass heavy offenses across the country get. They're a run first team, powerhouse team, and they're not going to change that. And I think if Christian Watson would have been in an air raid scheme or something like that, man, he could have been right there in the Walter Payton Award race in my opinion. But catch focus needs to improve a little bit more route consistency. But overall, man, this kid is going to be a stud. I thought the Packers were going to draft him with their late first round pick. They ended up going two defensive picks in the first round, but they right there wrong, man. Get Christian Watson early in the second round, and I'm really really excited. Based on Twitter this morning, he's going to be wearing number 9 for the Packers this year, so I might have to get me a Christian Watson Packers jersey, man. But congrats to Christian Watson. I think the Packers got a steal in the second round, and I'm excited to see what Watson does up there in Green Bay, man. But the other guy, man, Troy Andersen, Montana State linebacker. He was the 58th overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons in the second round of the NFL draft last night. He becomes the second highest ever drafted Montana State player following Bill Collar back in 1974 in the first round. He also is the highest pick from the Big Sky since Eastern Washington offensive tackle Michael Ruse in 2005, who went 41st overall to the Titans, and also now becomes the second player from Dillon, Montana to be drafted, joining Ed Barker from Washington State in 1953. Coming into the draft, man, the Falcons had a lot of needs on both sides of the ball, especially looking now with Calvin Ridley's suspension, the quarterback questions. They had needs all over the defensive side of the ball, at corner, at linebacker, potentially even defensive line, along with just needing, I mean, they needed everything. Let's just be honest. But Anderson joins a talented linebacker group led by Deion Jones and Rashawn Evans. Mel Kiper and Todd McShay have been vocal that Anderson could potentially be a day 1 starter regardless of where he lands. And I think Jones and Anderson's Deion Jones and Troy Andersen have the chance to be one of the more athletic linebacking duos in the NFL moving forward. Both of these guys have just the speed, the talent, the ball pursuit skills, just to be everywhere. The pass cover skills, those two guys could be dynamic in that linebacking core together. So I'm expecting Troy Andersen to compete for a starting job in Atlanta, or at least a major role in his first year over there in Atlanta. But this guy was the FCS Defensive Player of the Year. Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year, was a two-time FCS All-American 2019 and 2021, was a freshman All-American in 2017, along with the 2017 Big Sky Freshman of the Year, a three-time All Big Sky selection. And this guy right here, man, his story is just so unique, from playing quarterback to running back to linebacker. I mean, he's done it all, and he's the second all-time leader at Montana State with 33 rushing touchdowns, and his season records include rushing touchdowns, yards per rush, 100-yard rushing games, consecutive 100-yard rushing games, and points scored in one season. Man, had 21 rushing touchdowns, almost 7 yards per carry, 9 100-yard rushing games, 6 consecutive, and over 128 points scored. And then he moves to middle linebacker this year, wins all these Defensive Player of the Year awards, comes in second in the Buck Buchanan Award race, but this year had 147 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 picks, 7 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. And in the NFL Combine, man, the film matched his production. 6'3 and a half, 243, had a 40-yard dash of a 4.42, ranked first among all linebackers, had a 36 vert broad jump of 10.8, which was top 5 among linebackers. This guy's athleticism is just through the roof. And in the Senior Bowl, man, I got to watch him up close down there when I was covering the Senior Bowl in Mobile, and everything matched, man. He became one of the leaders of that defense. They loved his cover skills. Even when he got beat, he was so fast in just making that up. And especially, he's a mismatch for tight ends because he's just as big as the tight ends, but he's faster than all of them, man. This guy could be such a versatile piece if the defensive coordinators use him correctly. So I'm really excited to see Troy Andersen, man. What are they getting? An elite speed for a linebacker. He has excellent size, great tackler in open space. He has a toughness and a motor that can't be taught, and that's a quality that I think a lot of people are looking for linebackers nowadays. I think he does a great job diagnosing the play and playing sideline to sideline due to his speed, due to his understanding of the offense since he used to be an offensive player. He has great fluidity in his hips and movements. He's just an athlete out there, man. And really his weakness for me is just inexperience at linebacker, man. I think he's going to get better and better and better. You because look at some of these other linebacking prospects and say they've probably hit their ceiling. That's all you're going to get. With Troy Andersen, there is so much more potential to be unlocked because he's so new to the position. And sometimes, he could take poor angles just because he believes in his speed that much. But for me, you're getting such a enormous amount of potential in a Troy Andersen. I know a lot of Falcons fans, due to the Georgia connection, really wanting to Kobe Dean. Troy Andersen is just a bigger, just as athletic version of Nakobe Dean. And so I really don't think Falcons fans should be disappointed in this selection. Troy Andersen is going to be an absolute stud for the Falcons moving forward, man. But I'm excited to see both of these guys' names come off the board. These guys were my second and third ranked FCS prospects coming into the draft. I had Trevor Penning one, Christian Watson two, and Troy Andersen three. I'm extremely, extremely excited to see what they do, man. I know everyone's going to be rooting for these guys at the Packers and at the Falcons, man. So stay tuned today. Day 3 starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time today on ESPN, and I believe a whole bunch of other channels like the NFL Network. So stay tuned, man. We have a lot of FCS guys that should go off the board today. I'm excited. I'm hoping for a record day for the FCS, but 4 prospects through 3 rounds thus far, as Troy Andersen, Christian Watson, Cole Strange, and Trevor Penning are the first 4 FCS prospects off the board. But stay tuned to the Blue Bloods, man, as we're going to update you on all the landing spots for all the FCS prospects. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the like button if you're watching this video. Comment below on Christian Watson and Troy Andersen headed to the Packers and Falcons respectively, and comment below what you think they're going to do at the next level. But until next time, guys, and later today, the Blue Bloods are out.